Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of the Sales Spotlight, the show where you get to overcome your biggest cold email and outbound sales challenges by listening to what the top experts in the space have to say about it. One of the things I've noticed are two big use cases with new businesses getting into the space are one, they oversimplify the process, start blasting emails, and then wonder why they don't get results. And two, businesses which get overwhelmed and paralyzed with the amount of information and technology out there and never find the right combination to get it to work for them. To set this straight, we're going back to the basics, and I have a very handy guest for us. Our guest today started his career as a marketer, managing a team of 25 people, but his itch for something more led him to create a cold email software that's on its course to hit 5 million ARR. He's helped over 5,000 clients generate leads consistently with his software and uses the same processes for his own business. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the one, the only, the founder and CEO of Sales Handy, Dhruv Patel. Dhruv, welcome.
Yeah, hey, Jadip.
How are we doing?
Doing good. It's been a great day today.
Got it. Dhruv, so for those that don't know, could you give us a quick background into your story and how you've gotten entrenched in the field of outbound sales?
Absolutely. Uh, Before Sales Handy, we used to operate. Me and Piyush, my co-founder, both used to operate product which is a software discovery platform, and it was all about getting the position on search engine result page so that we can sell our sports, right? And while doing a lot of marketing stuff during that journey, at some point in time, we realized that for marketeers, we have a lot of analytical tools. We have a lot of analysis on how marketing team has been doing, or maybe post action analysis check was there available a lot. And I mean, back then we saw that for sales, it was still not justified when it comes to analysis of how they are performing or how we are performing. And that's when we started Sales Handy as a small Chrome extension, which says if the emails are opening, if the emails are getting replied or not. So that every time a person is hitting send button to the emails, they get to know what's the result after that. And that was the start of the Sales Handy, kind of an analytics for sales team. And from there till here, now we are a specialized cold email outreach software, helping a lot of customers who want to outreach, send cold emails at scale, as well as maintaining their delivery.
Got it. So you started as an email tracking software, and today you're a cold email software helping over 3,000 businesses, and you recently completed 8 years. Congratulations, Dhruv, on that to you and the team. That's a phenomenal achievement. This is what most businesses dream to have. And for those that don't know, the business is completely bootstrapped.
Absolutely.
It's profitable. So kudos to you and the team, Dhruv.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So, Dhruv, diving into the topic itself, we want to help people who are new to the cold email space start their outbound lead generation engine and then scale this, because a lot of new businesses, as I mentioned, fail to try to get started, face a lot of issues, and really never get going and think it's a channel that doesn't work. But you and your clients are proof that it actually does and can work if done right. And I know you have a 5-step process for businesses, any new business, to get started with this. So let's get right into it. How does that sound?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, Dhruv, the first step for any new business getting into the cold email space, what should they be doing?
I would say take a step back, check ACV. What's your average contract value? Based on that, you should decide if cold email is something that you should go at as a mainstream channel for your business generation, or it should be the secondary one. So I have seen that for any businesses with ACV below 2000 USD. Um, that cannot be the mainstream growth engine for that kind of businesses. So first thing is check the ACV, what ACV your business or services brings into. For those businesses with 3,000, ACV, give it a try. I mean, see if you can close 30-40% of meetings that is being booked by cold email outreach program. So it's absolute to try. You should try cold email outreaches if you have an ACV between 3 to 10K. And for any businesses with 10,000 plus ACV, this this can be a gold mine for you. Absolutely gold mine for you, and mainstream business generation uh, activity for you. So first thing, ACV check. Once you have ACV check done, come on to the ICP check. Check if you have ICP ready with you. uh, I would say if you're a new business, you might not have customers. There's a different way. If you're a well set business and you want to set up a new growth engine, you would have a lot of customers to analyze and get the
Hmm.
ICP definition out of those customers that you already have. So for those businesses who have been there and uh, who have been there and who have list of customers who are already paying or doing business with them, go and spend time in your existing customers database. Take a look
Got it.
on what are the top 10 customers, what are the attributes of those top 10 customers, which
Hmm.
country, which geography, what team size, what funding status, all of these attributes. Check out all of these attributes and see who are your ideal customer profiles, who are your ideal customers. If if required,
Got it.
connect with them again. Ask the questions that you might not have asked before. So maybe go and check if any specific challenges they faced, and that's when they came to you. Any specific product or services they must be looking back then and they came to you. So all of these questions and
Hmm.
answers and existing customer database checkup would help you prepare the ideal customer profiles. Once you have this ideal
Got
customer
it.
profiles, you know whom to reach out to. So this is the first step to the game. And for those who are in the new business, who are just starting and who don't have customers, for them it's there are a couple of ways you can look out to. You go to your competitors' website, check who are the customers, take a look there, and maybe try to visualize who would be the ICP. And for those businesses uh, which don't have customers, I would say ICP. Finding out the ICP is the very first step that a founder must be doing and experimenting a lot on that. So speak with a lot of prospects, try to understand what are the pain points, what are the attributes, and to whom your lines are touching. So that will give you the signal if these prospects with these attributes can relate to your product or service really well. Yes, you should
Hmm.
try reaching out to such kind of prospects more. So that's the first step. ACV check, ICP check,
Got it.
both green. You can go ahead and set up the cold email outreach.
That's a great response, Dhruv. So what is interesting was what Dhruv says. You have to have a minimum average contract value of about 2,000 at least. If the higher it is, the more fruitful a cold email as a channel will work for you. And also something really cool that you mentioned, that finding your ICP is not just the first step of a cold email process, but for a new business, it's the first step of the business itself. So, just a quick follow up on that. What are the elements of an ICP that a new business needs to have? Like, what
Uh,
does an ICP look like? What are the characteristics?
so attributes, some of the attributes that you should look for are check the size of business you are getting best out of. So size of business is
Hmm.
there in terms of number of employees, in terms of revenue, in terms of funding status.
Hmm.
So this is the first thing. Check the geography. Which geography you've been doing really good
Hmm.
at. Check
Okay.
the position or check the title job role of the person whom you are dealing with. That also gives you the
Got it.
good signals to whom you should reach out to. So if you are a fintech product, reaching out to CEO
Hmm.
may not be the great option.
Hmm.
If you're a fintech product, reaching out to CFO is the good option. And checking out your existing customers with these kind of attributes will help you
Hmm.
know whom to reach out.
Got it. That's yeah, that's pretty clear. So the ICP itself, they do exist on paper. So they are fictional characters, right, of your ideal customer. So how does a business actually reach out or find uh, real people that match their target ICP, Dhruv?
Um, again, the game starts from here. Once the ICP is set,
Hmm.
finding out those
Hmm.
ICP
Hmm.
takes takes a lot of efforts as well as it defines a lot of success for your cold email outreach.
Hmm.
I always look for two options here. So once you have ICPs,
Hmm.
then when you're into finding those ICPs, don't go straight finding out the uh, ICPs from maybe B2B database softwares or maybe data selling companies. Don't go straight that way.
Hmm.
That could be the secondary
Hmm.
or maybe the second way you can go ahead and look for the ICPs, putting attributes there into the software and fetching out the list of prospects. The first thing that you should look is the intent or the triggers that those ICPs would be looking forward to. So when it comes
Okay.
to taking this journey of cold email outreach from definition of ICP on a paper to actually sending cold
Hmm.
email outreach, the second step
Hmm.
is try to look for the intent which would trigger your prospects to come to you or maybe use your service.
Okay.
So if I can put an example over here, you are uh, IT service company, IT consultation company,
Hmm.
and you're looking for clients out there. You have ICP definition ready, and now you want to reach out to prospects. Don't reach out to of all of them, but reach out to those who have been looking for or who have been showing intent about services similar to you on an internet. For example,
Hmm.
if I have been an IT service company selling my Node.js technology expertise on the internet,
Hmm.
and I want more clients
Hmm.
towards my Node.js expertise, I would go and look
Hmm.
for the job openings who have been looking for Node.js developers. Right. So that's a clear intent. Someone is looking forward to a
Got it.
Node.js or specific technology or
Got
some
it.
specific problem. Or maybe if I can put it in this way, let's say if I'm I would take another industry case wherein if I am manufacturer of solar panels, rather than reaching
Hmm.
out to anyone and everyone, I should reach
Hmm.
out to the those prospects who are active right now, and I can easily find out
Hmm.
by
Hmm.
uh, attending some local events, getting the data
Hmm.
from those local events, and then building the connect
Hmm.
rather than just directly getting them on their mailbox, right? So there has to be some
Got it.
intent or trigger layer in between while you are looking for
Hmm.
the ideal customer profiles. So
Got
maybe
it.
those intents could be anything like funding. Someone who has recently received funding could be a
Hmm.
right trigger for you to look for your ideal customer profiles from that area.
Hmm.
Someone in a
Hmm.
community of uh,
Hmm.
community of some specific problems or community of some specific job roles could be the right place to be in, and
Okay.
then find out your ICPs from them. As I mentioned, job
Hmm.
openings are something. something that a lot of companies has been using as a great sign or intent so that they can reach out to them.
Hmm.
Recently, I've been seeing that it's a good way you go and check your competitors, probable competitors,
Hmm.
review sites, and maybe you can find
Hmm.
out the customers who have left the review there, positive, negative, and those can be the right
Hmm.
customers you should talk. Right, I'm not saying you will be able to close all of them, but
Hmm.
at least you will be able to build a connect with them real quick because they are extremely competitors
Hmm.
to you and they've been pursuing the services
Hmm.
of your competitor. So you go and speak with them.
Hmm.
So this way you will filter out a lot of inactive prospects from your ICP
Hmm.
profile, right? And
Hmm. Hmm.
you'll be first reaching out to the active prospects, and then maybe you can go and use the B2B database softwares to reach out to whole pool wherein they are irrespective of
Hmm.
active or passive kind of
Got it.
prospects falling in your ICP definition. So I would say once you have ICP set, look for intent
Hmm.
and
Got it.
try to find out creative ways of catching the internet intent from the maybe internet or offline world. The more creative you are, the awesome results you can get.
Hmm.
Maybe one of the intent that I really loved is someone purchasing my uh, someone purchasing a software which is very close or maybe sitting next to me, and right after that software,
Okay.
if software like my or
Hmm.
service like my business is going to be useful, that kind of intent is really
Hmm.
great intent. So for example, I would say a game development company, if a game development
Hmm.
company does a contract with some game projects or game studios. Uh,
Hmm.
Companies like game QA or game quality testing companies can go and pitch in their service together, maybe or outreach or partner with
Got
these
it.
kind of companies and outreach them in a right way. So these kind of intents, creative intents, would cut short your efforts in reaching out to thousands of people, rather reaching out to the
Got
very
it.
niche audience who is active first, and then maybe you can reach out to passive as well.
Hmm. Got it. That's a really great response, Dhruv. So once you have your ICP, don't just look to find anybody who matches it, but rather look for specific triggers so that you can maximize the chances of the timing of your cold email and your communication being right. Triggers like hiring alerts, funding, checking other review sites, buying different software that aligns with your own. That's great insight, Dhruv. And to follow up on that, so to get the actual information, let's say we have found someone, they've set off a trigger, and they fit the bill. What are some software you use to find more information about them so that we can actually start the communication with them, Dhruv?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, So for different intents, a lot of different softwares comes into the picture. If you're really looking forward to
Hmm.
funding, finding out the companies who have recently received funding, go and check out on
Hmm.
Crunchbase. There's software named Launch
Hmm.
Gravity. These two
Hmm.
specialize in uh, getting you the list of those companies who have recently got funded, or even those they'll
Okay.
help you find out those companies who have recently been registered as a company. Maybe if that's the kind of trigger you
Hmm.
want. I mean,
Hmm.
a lot of website development companies want such kind of triggers wherein someone has
Hmm.
registered their new
Hmm.
company recently,
Hmm.
and they can reach out
Hmm.
to them asking for a website development project. Um,
Yeah.
or maybe if you want to do a tech lookup, as in what
Hmm.
companies are using what software. Maybe you want
Hmm.
to see parallel usage or competitor usage and
Hmm.
do a tech lookup.
Hmm.
You can go and look out the similar tech being used by companies on websites like Webalizer, built with one of
Hmm.
the very old
Hmm.
one. which is there in market.
Hmm.
Vaporizer is the new one, which has been doing really great. And there are softwares like Similar Tech, which helps you find the
Hmm.
technology being used by those specific softwares or websites. And
Okay.
you can use a lot of scrapers to scrape the
Hmm.
websites or just to scrape the discovery platforms or listicles, to scrape even
Hmm.
communities. You can join the communities and
Hmm.
scrape the communities using these scrapers. I'd name
Hmm.
Phantom Buster is one of the tool doing really good. It allows you to scrape Yellow Pages. It allows you to scrape Google Maps.
Hmm.
So all of these
Hmm.
tools together can help you uh, build great data to be outreach.
Got it. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Dhruv. The amount of tools and information available today to actually get good data on your customers is absolutely insane. But I think this is where a lot of businesses who are getting started with cold email kind of like get over excited and pull the trigger too early by saying, oh, look, we have so many people who match the profile we're looking for, and then just start blasting emails rather than, as you said, waiting for us for the right timing. So as opposed to just blasting emails into oblivion as soon as you get contact information, what is the right way to go about this, Dhruv?
Okay. So once let's assume the list is ready or you have caught the right trigger
Hmm.
with you. I would say the very next step is rather than just go and start shooting emails. Take a
Hmm.
pause, look at your system. I mean, set up a system. Because it is a cold outreach. There are chances that you
Hmm.
are you are not uh, reaching out to the right person every time you send an email. So
Hmm. Hmm.
it can it can result into a recipients marking your email as spam uh,
Hmm.
if you haven't mentioned something relevant to the recipients whom you're outreaching. So
Hmm.
before sending emails, just I would say set up alternative domains, set up alternative email addresses so
Hmm.
that you are not risking out your primary domains because you're reaching out to a lot of
Hmm.
cold prospects whom maybe or may
Hmm.
not be interested ones, who may be or may not be
Hmm.
looking out for services like you, and chances are
Hmm.
that they may mark you as spam or they may mark you as they may report your emails. So to to
Hmm.
to lower down the risk of your primary domains getting hampered out of this activity, we always recommend to set up alternative domains, alternative email addresses before you start sending emails to these many people. That way, you are saving your primary
Hmm.
emails wherein you are sending quotations to actual prospects whom you are doing business with, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
once all of this uh, new domains and new email addresses are set up, because it's new, you cannot start sending from day one. You need to warm it up.
Hmm.
You need to set up a repo
Hmm.
uh,
Hmm.
before sending out hundreds of emails from the email account, which is again
Hmm.
a personal email account and not a bulk sender, right? So it requires
Hmm.
a warm up before you start shooting emails. So create a new domain, email address, do a warm up. Once the warm up is done, configure your email accounts in the sending softwares like SalesAny. SalesAny is the cold email outreach
Hmm.
software. You go and start configuring your email accounts inside SalesAny
Hmm.
using SMTP,
Hmm.
IMAP details, username, passwords of your email addresses. Um,
Hmm.
Once you have connected your email accounts with SalesID, you
Hmm.
then make sure that you have all the records which gives authority to send email to SalesID, right, on behalf of you. You set
Hmm.
up all of those records.
Okay.
Um, if I name few of them, SPF, DKM, DKIM,
Hmm.
DMARC, and
Hmm.
MX records. These are
Hmm.
the four key records. You should make sure that those are green before you start sending emails.
Hmm.
And I
Hmm.
guess it's a it's a set thing. It doesn't require you to do anything creative. It's a
Hmm.
common thing that these are the four things that you need to set right.
Hmm.
Uh, you need to
Hmm.
connect your email accounts with Sales ID, and
Hmm.
your emails must be warmed up. You do not need to do
Hmm.
it manually. You can again use tools like Inbox to warm up your email accounts so that you are ready
Hmm.
to send cold email outreaches to your prospects. And
Got it.
at the same point in time, you're not just wasting your efforts, prospecting efforts by landing in spam. So that's the most crucial thing.
Hmm.
And so out of excitement, don't just start sending cold
Hmm.
emails from your primary mailbox. That's the key thing, and that's the first check.
Got it. So, yeah, so from the technical setup standpoint, it might seem overwhelming if you're new to the space, but as Dhruv said, it's not really a creative process. It's kind of like a set checklist that you just need to follow, and using the right cold email software like Sales Handy, I may be biased, will point you in the right direction and guide you to complete these steps in an easy way and completely take the stress out of it. Um, Great. So, Dhruv, now we have contact information about our ideal customer. We've warmed up our email, taken care of the technicalities, and it's time for the fun part, structuring and writing the actual email sequences. So, when it comes to this, what are some best practices to get the best results from your email sequences in terms of the copy and the structure that you use?
Absolutely, this is where the artistic work starts. All of the work done before is kind of a
Hmm.
science.
Hmm.
It's a flat formula. You need to just make sure you are checking all the boxes right. But here's where the
Hmm.
artistic work starts. Uh,
Hmm.
some of the common frameworks and the proven framework says that your email should not be, I mean, when you're writing cold email outreach copy, uh, just make sure that
Hmm.
it's not so lengthy so that someone is not
Hmm.
reading it enough. It's
Hmm.
not so short that it looks like I mean, half information given and it puts the recipient in confused zone. So
Hmm.
the first and foremost thing is to make sure your code email copy is below 200 words, at least first email.
Okay.
And in that 200
Hmm.
words, you cover, I mean, you transfer that feeling of email being written by me personally and sent to the
Hmm.
recipient in a handwritten format. I mean, it should not transfer the feeling of email that is written to many people. So I always say that
Hmm.
it's all about one-to-one feeling that needs to be transferred rather than uh, getting into this feeling of one to many. I mean,
Hmm.
whenever the email comes with one to many feeling, it reduces the chance
Hmm.
of getting replied, which is the primary objective
Hmm.
that we are going out with. So, in order to carry this one-to-one feeling when you are writing email, make sure you
Hmm.
are having. So there are five things that you put in your cold email copy. First one is a simple greeting that the recipient can relate well based on their
Hmm.
geography, based on where they are
Hmm.
located. Then personalize your email for your recipient. It's not about, so whenever you're writing a cold email copy, it's not about you first, it's not about a writer first, it's
Hmm.
about recipient first.
Hmm.
So personalize your email copy
Hmm.
for your recipient. Maybe speak about their business, maybe speak
Hmm.
about their problems, possible problems. Speak
Hmm.
about your
Hmm.
recipient's hobby. Speak about how you know your recipients or something which
Hmm.
has a personalized touch to the prospect in whom you
Hmm.
are outreaching. Once you have built that relation or built that connect in that second part, which is
Hmm.
personalization part,
Hmm.
you come
Hmm.
onto the offer, you come onto the pitch,
Hmm.
why you have reached out,
Hmm.
right? What actual
Hmm.
problem you are trying to solve for your prospects? What actual problem you are really expert at, which you have maybe observed about your prospect whom you are reaching out, and then pitch the solution together. So the first one is
Hmm.
greetings, then personalization, then
Hmm.
comes an offer,
Hmm.
then comes the CTA.
Okay.
What response you
Okay.
need, call to action, what action you require from the reader. What do you want him to
Hmm.
click on a link? Do you want prospect to
Hmm.
reply back? Do you want them to come
Hmm.
on a 15 minutes call? So one clear CTA, and then a small signature
Hmm.
telling more about you. So this is the
Hmm.
five things that one needs to check while framing a cold email
Hmm.
copy. Again, you can move things up and down because, as I mentioned,
Hmm.
it's an artistic thing. You can play around all of this,
Hmm.
but these are the five common
Hmm.
elements that needs to be there in your cold email copy.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
the most important element is one-to-one feeling. It has to be human to human,
Hmm.
uh, kind of a
Hmm.
cold email rather than one to mass audience, one email reaching out to mass audience. I mean, if
Hmm.
it carries this kind of tone, then it would not work
Hmm.
as it will work on the other hand.
Hmm. Yeah, that's couldn't agree more with you, Dhruv. So you want, you know, everyone's inboxes today are flooded with emails. We barely have time to see the important ones. So when a stranger reaches out to you, it really has to catch their attention and feel like it's someone directly talking to you. So you want it to feel personalized. You want it to genuinely add value as well. And as you mentioned, it is a creative process. So there is no set formula as such. You have to experiment with it on your own to figure out what sort of copy, what sort of value prop works best for your business. Great. So, talking about that, as I said, you need to test out what works best for your business, right? So, from a cold email process perspective, what are the key metrics that you need to look at to assess the performance of your campaign, Dhruv?
Um, so two things here. I would say primarily two things you need to check. Open rate is number one. Reply rate is number two.
Hmm.
Open rate gives
Hmm.
you the kind of high level signal about how your cold email is performing in terms of where it is landing. Is it landing in spam? Is it landing in primary inbox or promotion box? So open rate will give you the high level signal about how your subject line is also doing. If your gatekeeper is something which doesn't perform well, you'll get low open rate. So
Hmm.
number one is open rate, and number two, which
Hmm.
is actually more important, is reply rate. How much reply
Hmm.
you are generating out of this outreach? Are people responding to you?
Hmm.
If not, then you need to go and
Hmm.
check back on the offer that you are putting into. If you're not getting enough reply, you need to go and check. Uh, Maybe
Hmm.
the prospects you are outreaching might not be the right one for the business that you are into. So these are the two
Hmm.
primary, and then I would say a lot of other key metrics like how many unsubscribes you are getting. It should not be too high.
Hmm.
How many
Hmm.
bounces you are generating, because the more bounces you are generating, the more emails are bouncing out of your cold email outreach. It will hamper your
Hmm.
overall performance in the future. It will
Hmm.
start
Hmm.
impacting your domain reputation, email addresses reputation, and then maybe you need to rework on that. You need to mm, so that's a high check. Your emails should not be bouncing a lot. It can be both hard bounce, soft bounce, any kind of bounces. So
Hmm.
these are the four
Hmm.
key metrics that you should keep
Hmm.
on the top vision.
Okay. Yeah. I think look at whether people, as long as you've set up your email, the technical setup correctly, which, as Dhruv mentioned, is basically a question of ticking off a checklist. You should be getting your emails delivered to the right person. Then it's a question of measuring, are they opening your email? And then are they actually responding to that? So the first one comes down to the subject line that you use, and also they're replying basically the copy and the value prop, and really how you've positioned this. Great. So Dhruv, obviously these metrics vary widely among businesses, but generally for new businesses just getting out into the space, let's say 3 months into trying cold email, what sort of numbers should they expect to see if they've done everything right in terms of opens and replies?
In terms of open rate, I would say anywhere between 40 to 50, 60% is really a good number that you are getting already. Above 50
Hmm.
is really good. 40 to 50 is
Hmm.
something wherein you have a little scope of improvement. And below 40,
Hmm.
you should really optimize your maybe deliverability side of things. You should use warm up, or maybe you should look forward to number of bounces that you're getting, where your emails are landing. You should
Hmm.
give it a try. You should check some deliverability monitoring systems. You should opt for such kind of systems and see where actually your emails are landing. So there are tools like
Hmm.
block apps, mail monitor, and many more tools. Even the warm up software, Troll Inbox would help you
Hmm.
understand where actually your emails are landing. So below 30,
Hmm.
you should do a check. 40 to
Hmm.
60, it's a great number to keep continuing. For
Hmm.
reply rate,
Hmm.
I'd say anything above 4-5% is a good number to continue
Hmm.
keep continuing the outreach. Um,
Hmm.
Below 2-3% reply rate, you can keep working on the email copy. You can keep working on the ICPs whom you are outreaching. So try getting
Hmm.
5, 6, 7, 8% reply rate, and that's
Hmm.
the more intent based you outreach, the higher the reply rate you'll get. But
Hmm.
this is the middle number, below 5 and above 5.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, that's great. Yeah. So for your opens, I mean, of course, take this. It will completely depend on your industry, your business, your product. But as a general guideline, you want your opens to be above 35 to 40% at least, and you want your replies to be above 5%. The more, the merrier. But these are some good starting points. And Dhruv, something else I've seen you mention is the importance of following up, because a lot of these replies don't may not necessarily happen on the first email. A lot of them require a first follow up to a third follow up. So can you touch a little bit about the importance of following up to your original email?
Follow-ups are the key. I mean, to cold email
Hmm.
outreach success. Without follow-ups, you cannot expect this much of reply rate and open rate that I've been mentioning, because uh, inbox are getting flooded, and
Hmm.
more getting flooded every now. When
Hmm. Hmm.
every year passing, you are getting
Hmm.
uh, 1 or 2x more emails landing in your
Hmm.
mailbox. So follow up is the only way
Hmm.
you can maybe increase the chances of your emails getting replied. Earlier,
Hmm.
it was like, I mean, more follow-ups were recommended. I mean, earlier it used to be
Hmm.
like 4, 5, 6, 7 follow-ups people used to send, but I advise not to send these many follow-ups. Rather, do 3, 4 maximum follow-ups and keep it human follow-ups. Add value whenever you are following it up. Don't just keep it
Hmm.
a blunt follow-up. Rather, add a
Hmm.
value to what you have been pitching in the first email copy. Add somewhat little bit more value to that particular copy, and then uh, do 2 or 3 more follow-ups. That will increase the chance of getting
Hmm.
eyeballs in the mailbox, and
Hmm.
that's where you will reach maybe 5, 6, 7% of reply rate that we are talking about. So it's a key thing.
Hmm.
Follow-ups not done without follow-ups, these numbers are quite impossible.
Hmm. Following up is the name of the game in cold email because your cold emails, timing is such a big aspect of cold emails and something you don't have control over when the recipient is actually opening your email, and the timing could just not work. You're in the middle of a busy day, you quickly see it, you could just forget about it. Or maybe you don't have the need at the time, but it arises a few weeks or months later. So, as long as the value prop is right, following up is an absolute must for successful cold email campaigns. Um, Great. So, Dhruv, one last one for you. Let's say we followed your 5 step process. We've used all the insights you've shared in terms of identifying the right ICP, waiting for the trigger to actually reach out to them, following the correct technical setup. Structuring our emails and copy correctly, as well as following up. Once you've done this, let's say we're seeing numbers similar to what you mentioned, getting decent open rates of above 35% and replies of close to 5% and above. How do you actually go about scaling this process?
So yeah, that's where the software comes into the picture. Once you have
Hmm.
set processes, once you are getting good replies, once you have started booking more meetings via cold email outreach programs, um, you now are looking for more prospects. You now are looking forward to send more emails. You are now looking forward to reach out to more prospects. When it's now about scaling, the major roadblock that comes into the picture is the ESP sending limits. Because we are sending emails from your own personal mailboxes to carry this one-to-one feeling. The major roadblocks that come into the picture is the sending limits imposed by email service providers like G Suite and Microsoft. Every one of them have the sending limits so that you're not violating
Hmm.
the policies of G Suite, Microsoft, or whether it be Zoho or any other service provider. And in order
Hmm.
to overcome this sending limits, uh, you can use tools like Sales ID to uh, still overcome this sending limit by creating multiple email accounts and attaching all of these multiple email accounts, let's say 10 or 20 email accounts that you have created, which sends around 50 emails a day each. You can
Hmm.
send around
Hmm.
1,000 emails a day easily. So
Hmm. Hmm.
Sales Honey will allow you to use those multiple email accounts in the same sequence
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
send the emails. These kind of tools will do all of these things automatically. You do not need to create
Hmm.
a lot of sequences. You do not need to use a lot of different softwares. It's just simply you create a sequence, you add all of your
Hmm.
email accounts in the same sequence, and on the rotational basis, these email accounts will be used for each of the prospect that you want to outreach. And
Hmm.
in order to still make sure that the copies that you are sending out is unique, you can use
Hmm.
this
Hmm.
advanced features of, spin texting your email copies. So using this
Hmm.
advanced feature like spin text, advanced merge text,
Hmm.
all of these things will help you
Hmm.
still keep the email copy,
Hmm.
distinctive and unique to each of
Hmm.
these prospects. And that's how you can scale this entire process and still maintain
Hmm.
the feeling of one to one rather than uh,
Hmm.
going ahead with one to many feelings, right? So, yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, it is very well possible with this couple of
Hmm.
modules that we have created, especially
Hmm.
for scaling the cold email outreach.
Hmm.
Spintax, either it be
Hmm.
Spintax, either it be unified
Hmm.
inbox, wherein because if you are using so many email accounts to outreach,
Hmm.
it's quite
Hmm.
impossible to go and check all of these email accounts for the replies that I'm getting. So in Sales ID, you'll
Hmm.
get all of these replies at one place within Sales ID, so that you do not need to go and check
Hmm.
all of these other email accounts for the replies. So all of these modules within Sales and will enable you to scale your cold email outreach, yet keep one to one
Hmm.
and not a generalized cold email.
Hmm. That's really the beauty of cold email. Once you have a structure down and if you're seeing results, it's pretty easy to scale it in a cost effective manner. It's all about applying those same principles which you did to first get results, but also keeping it fresh and trying new stuff and constantly experimenting. A good cold email software tool like Sales Handy will definitely come in handy and help you along the entire process, right from getting started as well as scaling. Dhruv, I know you're a busy man. I've seen your Google Calendar. It looks more colorful than a rainbow. So I really appreciate the time you've taken to share with me today. There was a bunch of great insights in there, and I really enjoyed our chat. Before I let you go, for people who want to learn more about you, your business, where can they follow you and learn more about Sales Handy, Dhruv?
Follow me on LinkedIn. I've been always there on LinkedIn. You can find all of these nuggets shared by me on LinkedIn. Uh, my LinkedIn handle is Dhruv Ikigai. Uh, each of the place my handles is remains the same. So you can follow me on LinkedIn, Dhruv
Okay.
Ikigai, Twitter, Dhruv Ikigai.
Great. And yeah, for those of you who want to get some fitness inspiration, I would suggest following Dhruv on Strava as well. The man clocks a lot of miles in a week. It used to be on a cycle, but now he's using his feet to run a lot. So that's great. Dhruv, thank you so much once again for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you and have a wonderful rest of the day.
Yep, same to you. Great speaking with you.
Okay. Thank you. So, everyone, there you have it. This is how you can start and scale your outbound lead generation engine. I'm Jay, and that's it for today. I'll catch you at the next one. Peace.